to do a complete refresh on my girls' coop. This is my Q4 cleanup refresh. I was holding off because we are amidst hurricane season, and I don't want to do a refresh and then end up everything getting drenched with a hurricane. So far this year we have been extremely lucky. We have had several of them go by the coast of Florida and continue to head on up to the north and out back towards the Atlantic Ocean. So with that being said, we are now heading towards mid-October. Just a couple more weeks of hurricane season, and I think the only thing that I'm gonna have to worry about, or those of us in Northeast Florida, is constant thunderstorms. That being said, I can't hold off any longer. My girls' coop hasn't been cleaned in about 4 months, and that drives me insane. So I thought I'd bring you along and show you how I use all of my favorite items from Eaton Pet Pasture as far as my coop refresh is concerned. Also, I have an item here from First Saturday Lime, which is a must-have in my cleanup chicken coop, prevent pests, ants, fleas, ticks. This is amazing stuff. It's kind of warm. It's very windy. It did rain this morning. It's threatening rain right now, but I really need to get this cleaned up. So I thought I'd bring you along with me. There also might be some spiders in here. I've been battling black widow, brown widow spiders for a couple of months because on the front door of this coop, I added another panel to kind of help keep this area of the coop dry so that they had some place to go dry when it rains really bad. But as you can see, I took it off this morning, and like I said, it did rain. So, and they tend to hide right underneath there. Now this is a Pantry Pride coop that is supposed to be good enough for 10 hens or 10 chickens. I'm gonna beg to differ on that. Also, we did have to make some modifications to this coop because there was just the door and then one window. There was no other ventilation, and you cannot have chickens, especially in an area where they poop. You cannot have chickens in an enclosed area with just one source of ventilation. So we had to make some changes to that. I need to make more changes. Obviously, because of the hurricane season, we are going to wait until it gets to be a little bit closer to winter. But that being said, let's go on in here into the chicken coop. I'm going to take you with me and show you what it looks like. This is their run. They love it. We built all of this. It does have some more modifications that need to come, but this is the coop. And this is the area that I need to clean. So let me see if I can get you set up in there, set up so you can see what I'm doing. So what I need to do is so there are 4 nesting pads right here. There are 4 nesting pads, nesting spots right here for my girls. We have 4 of the roosting bars. They're too close together. With the other 2 bars in there, chickens wouldn't be able to fly up here. So that was a bad design. I'd like to make a shit shelf right over here. And I'd also like to open up that panel so I can use that as a door for easy cleaning. So as you can tell, poop, oh, you can't see. There you go. There's a good view. That is what I need to clean. Of course, I forgot my rag and my soap, so I'm gonna have to run get that really quick. But this is bedding that has been in here for 4 months, 5 months. I did this at the beginning of summer. So April, May, and there is no odor, there's no smell. This is the hen house hemp, or this is the hemp bedding that I get from Eaton Pet Pasture, and it still looks amazing. Now I do come out here every day and I do scoop up the poop that ends up over there underneath that roosting bar, because that's the roosting bar that they sit on. This one is here. Just when I had the other hens, I had more. I had 8. When I had the other 5, they would split between the 2 roosting bars. But I need to wipe all of this down, give it a good clean. I need to pull all of this hemp bedding out, put it in the compost. I've got 1 nesting pad over here I need to pull out. I had to pull the other one out because one of the girls broke an egg and ate it. She got an extra treat and it had ants, so I pulled that out. So let me go get what I use and we'll start cleaning this out. Okay, so when I clean the hemp out, I use, this is a shoe tray that you put by the door to put your dirty and wet shoes on before you take them off before you go in the house. I have 2 of these. I have one in the house I use for shoes, and then I got this one for this purpose. And then this is leftover piece of cedar from a compost that I had that didn't really turn out very well. It didn't work very well. So what I do is I go in, actually there's one other tool that I need. Let me go grab that really quick. I'm sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. This is a window squeegee because this is about 4 foot, 5 foot deep. Can't reach over there. So I use this window squeegee to reach all the way over to the other side, and I squeegee. I pull all of this out. Pull it up here close so that I can reach it. And then, uh-oh, you almost hit the dirt. Well, that wasn't good. Okay, well, okay, I need to put my hair up. Okay, so now what I do next is I grab my boot tray and I place it right here on the lip, and then just squeegee pull all of this old bedding out. And you can tell it doesn't really look bad at all. All right, so we're gonna go and I'm gonna dump this in the compost real quick and I'll be right back. All right, let's get the rest of this gunk. Let's see if we can get more of this out. When I'm freshening this up, sometimes if it's really bad, I'll go ahead and do this as often as I need to. But this has been in here for about 4 months, and it's not bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this out. There we go. A lot better. I'm going to try and see if I can get a little bit more of that up from over there. I think most of that is diatomaceous earth, DE, and my first Saturday lime. So let's see. Now you can see the DE is stuck in there. And then this right here, I'm just going to scrape out and put it down here in the bottom of the run, and it should be okay because I'll be refreshing that here in the next week or so. Okay, so there's that. I am going to go and grab some soap and water, climb in there and see if maybe I cannot get that off of there, because I have some contact paper that I want to put up there that I'm hoping will be easy for me to just wipe off. It's not the prettiest pattern, it's not what I'm looking for, but it'll do for now. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'll have to tell you what happened with the inside. That is not going to work. I will show you that in a minute. I am going to have to get some plywood, some small thin plywood, cut it to fit, cover that with the wallpaper, and screw that up on this side because of the grooves, and because my fault, I didn't paint it. It's not gonna work. So while I let that dry in there, I came out here to clean this out. So there's 4 nesting boxes, and some of the hemp from them jumping down at all, some of the hemp bedding has gotten out here. There's still some DE and Saturday lime in here, so I'm going to do the best that I can to try and sweep all of this out, and then we're going to put some fresh Saturday lime in here, and I'm going to put a nesting pad in one area because they only lay in one area. So let me go get a scratch, and I've got some lemongrass planted right there next to it to help keep the pests and all away, snakes and all of those creepy crawling things. So let's get this finished. It's not what I wouldn't say this is how I would do it all the time. When I do the modifications to the coop, that's when I'll add the plywood and the contact paper and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not worried about the roosting bars that they roost on at night because it is cedar, and we know cedar deters bugs. So I'm extremely grateful for that. So that, I wouldn't call it a mistake, it was a trial that ended up not working. Ended up working out better for my girls' roosting bars. So that's a good thing. Alright, we are almost finished. And then right here, and 3 of these, I am going to just put some of the hemp bedding because they don't lay over there. So, and this is what they look like. This has been in here. They got wet in the rain. Right there you can see. But this has been in here 4 months. So they last a good long time. I had to put this plastic up right here because rain would drip down and drip inside. And this is also going to need to be replaced. I'm going to do that when I do the other modifications. I'm going to get some fresh plastic. Also, the Saturday lime and the DE. So the DE that I use, or have used in the past, is food grade. So it's not going to hurt my chickens. For Saturday lime is the same way. It's not going to hurt the chickens. It won't hurt any animal. It's safe. That's one of the reasons why I use it. All right, so that is pretty much good to go. So now I'm going to take a fresh nesting pad. All of this is compostable, and I'm going to place it right here. Actually, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot the first All right, I have the goodies. So we'll take the first Saturday lime, and I do a good layer because we want the girls to be safe. So I will do this, make sure I get the seams in the middle in every one of these nesting boxes. And this is what it looks like. It's a very fine powder. I love that stuff. Alright, so now we're going to take the fresh nesting pad and we're going to put it right in there. Fluff it up just a little bit. You hear my girls down there? And then we're going to take some nesting herbs. This is good for them when they're sitting on the nest and they're fluffing and pecking. This is really good for them. The marigold and the lavender. The lavender is very calming. Marigold deters pests and flies. You didn't see any flies when I opened this. And we're in Florida, and it is very warm today. It's very warm despite the overcast conditions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some hemp bedding in these 3. I used to put nesting pads in here. They never used them. They pretty much went to waste. So I'm going to go grab, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go grab my hemp bedding, and I will be right back. And we're in Florida, and it is very warm today. It's very warm despite the overcast conditions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some hemp bedding in these three. I used to put nesting pads in here. They never used them. They pretty much went to waste. So I'm going to go grab, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go grab my hemp bedding, and I will be right back. Right in there. Fluff it up just a little bit. You hear my girls down there? And then we're going to take some nesting herbs. This is good for them when they're sitting on the nest and they're fluffing and pecking. This is really good for them. The marigold and the lavender. The lavender is very calming. Marigold deters pests and flies. You didn't see any flies when I opened this. And we're in Florida, and it is very warm today. It's very warm despite the overcast conditions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some hemp bedding in these three. I used to put nesting pads in here. They never used them. They pretty much went to waste. So I'm going to go grab, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go grab my hemp bedding, and I will be right back. Okay, we've got the 33-pound bag. Hello, my love. The 33-pound bag of the hemp bedding. So I'm just going to take and sprinkle some in here. Just enough to do a good layer. More. And then what I'll do is I'll sprinkle some nesting herbs in here, and that will help deter the pests, the bugs, the critters. Yes, my love. And I will put some extra down here because they roost right there. And voila, they now have a fresh pad to lay me some good fresh eggs on. All right, she's good and locked. Boxes. I'm going to go ahead and take some of my Saturday lime, and I'm going to sprinkle it all on the bottom of the coop. Covered. And I do a pretty good layer because, like I said, I only do this once a quarter. I may do it more in the summer, but I don't really need to in the fall and the winter. So there we go. So now we have a good layer of First Saturday lime. Now I'm going to go and get my hemp bedding, and we're going to put some bedding down. Same way. Most efficient way to do this. Probably should just bring the bag in here and show you really how I do it. So I've got the bag. Fold the bag in on itself so that I can get a good scoop and just toss it in there. The 8-pound bags are a little bit more user-friendly, but it's so much easier just to have the big bag. I like to put a pretty good layer down because the girls roost up there, and so when they jump down on this, and it's hard. And I had one hen injure her leg because there wasn't enough padding down here. So I make sure I add enough padding, especially in the middle, so that they have a soft landing. Well, as soft as I can make it and still be clean. And then if I have to, I'll come out, and if it's really dirty, I'll come out and I'll sift through and take out a lot of the dirty bedding, and then I'll just add another layer to it. I won't do a clean like this until spring. But because I sift back over there where they poop, it tends to get thin very quickly. So I will occasionally add some more back there so that when they poop and they pee, it has something to land on and it doesn't stick to the plastic piece that's down here. So, that should do it. All right, now I'm gonna get this bag out of my way. And I'm gonna go to my Roost Refresh. This is the piece de la resistance. This is the Roost Refresh. Again, this has got biodegradable and compostable ingredients. It's got the hemp, the smaller hemp, and then it's also got the lavender, calendula, basil, rose petals, lemon balm, blue corn flower, and rosemary. And so this is very calming for the girls. I like to add a lot under where they lay, just because I want them to be healthy and happy. Happy hens, happy mama. All right, that's done. So I'm gonna add this roosting bar right back over here, and that's it, guys. Like I was telling you earlier, over there, because of the grooves, I cannot get that out. I cannot get that out at all. But if you can, let me show you on the door. On the door right here, do you see that there's a little bit of a lip? So if I get a piece of plywood and put the contact paper on it, then I can slide it right in there and it'll make it even, and attach and put the contact paper on top of that, and that way it'll be clean and I won't have to worry about all the poop everywhere. And I think it'll look nicer too. So I'm probably I'm gonna cut out the additional, and I'll tell you in another video if you guys are interested, but I need additional windows in here for them. But for this for this video, I'm gonna leave it here. I did another video of all of my favorites. So much of a favorite for me that they're on a subscription. Everything that I've showed you in that video is on a subscription. I get it once a month, except for the 33-pound of hemp. That only get once a quarter. If I need a top up, then I'll just pick up an 8-pound bag, just as a refresher. But I usually don't have to. That 33-pound bag will last me the full quarter and maybe a little bit more. So if you are looking for, if you're a beginner, you're not sure where to start there. Check out the investment, see what it's gonna cost you. I have 5 hens. I have 3 in this coop and I have 2 in the other, and I've already cleaned out the smaller coop. I did that yesterday. And that one's small. I have to get on my hands and knees. That one's the one that's gonna be redone. I'm gonna change that whole area, hopefully before winter. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments and I'll record that as well. But yes, this is everything that I need to do until I can get the plywood and make the additional modifications. So with that being said, thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, let me know. If you want to see something else, from beginner learning by making mistakes to beginner, leave me a comment, leave me a question. I'll be glad to get back with you on that. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell for the next time I upload. I'm not on a schedule right now because weather. The weather and deliveries and just life in general. I'm sorry. I do hope by the end of the year to be on a set schedule. But if you like to see this, hit the notification bell. Please consider subscribing and leave me a comment of either something that you learned or if you have a question. And if not, you made it all the way to the end, leave the emoji chicken so that I know you're a tried and true. Thank you so very much for stopping by. I wish you all a very blessed day.